Hi, TJ here from smokescreendesign.com. Today we're going to take a look at the ISS, just sort of a continuation of information from last night that myself, Jaren, and Bob, we were taking a look at the ISS, the live and some video, some recorded feed, and just really taking a look at to see what's going on up there at the space station in outer space. And this was the first episode where we were just spent time taking a look at this. Now, one of the things that we noticed right off was that this land is really flat. It's not curved at all, but we've got this curve here which just really seems to be like some type of cropping cutout of the image. But if you look at this image, like the cloud isn't curved, it's straight. Let's see here. I mean, this stuff is pretty straight and looks really flat. And as we were watching it, so if you look at it, you're gonna like, no, that's definitely globe, that's the Earth. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't seem to look right, but if you do this, now what do you think? Does it still look like a sphere, or does it look flat? So as you're watching this, this to me seems like, let's see, get rid of that. Oops. It seems that it's just coming in a direction like this. Instead of something that is round, that's a sphere that's spinning. So if you take a look at it, it's just, that's what it looks like. Almost like there is some sort of plane just flying over the earth. But the image and everything doesn't really move, the clouds don't move or anything like that. So, I mean, does it look like a sphere, or does this look pretty flat? Now, one of the other things we are looking at in question is appears to be like some type of like TV screen or high quality movie screen, and this is an image that's projected, for lack of a better word, this Earth, and maybe there's like this some type of model or something that's on top of or over the image where the camera's recording. I mean, this doesn't look like it's something real. And just show you that on the live stream for the ISS, same thing. So does that look flat, or does it look like it's a sphere? So they're supposed to be somewhere around 150 to 200 miles up. So they should be able to see a lot of curve. Their horizon should be out pretty far. Let's see. What's the horizon? I've got to do it. So they're 150 miles. 792,000 feet. So they should be able to see 1,100 miles out. 1,100 miles out. Let's see, curvature. So they should be able to see 149 miles of curve. If they are 200, one million 56,000. Copy this. Oops, guess not. So we've got their horizon is at 1,274 miles. So these guys are able to see out there pretty far. And they've got plenty of curve where we should, this curve that we should that we see here, we should also see that curve here. We should be able to see the same curve go all the way out, but we should also see that same curve go out from here. So from this point, we should see all sorts of curve. So if we see this much curve, we should see this everywhere. Now it's more distinguishable by looking at the contrast between the black background and the Earth. But when I cover up that curve, now everything has a flat look to it. And so when we were discussing it last night, that it just looks like a movie screen, say TV screen, but it looks like a movie screen. It looks like a movie screen image, and this object is just sitting in front of or over, however it is, over that image. So I want to talk a little bit about the ISS and seeing, is it possible, do they have movie screens? Is this a possibility that they could do that? So let's talk about some of the setup that they have. They have a mock-up training facility, which I would say is very important to have to get astronauts used to being in the spaceships or rockets or whatever you want to call them. Get them used to being in the ISS. And here we see that they have a complete mock-up of the space station. And we're going to see more about that. So they have the whole ISS on the ground to get these astronauts used to being in there, moving around, familiar with everything, playing with equipment. But on the other hand, if they really wanted to, now we know NASA would never fake anything, but if they really wanted to, they could have a complete mock-up with people living inside of it and recording from there. Now, one of the big questions is, how are they doing all the low or no gravity or zero gravity? How are they accomplishing that? So that is a really good question. How are they doing that? And that's just something that needs further looking into. Now there are some people that say green screens and harnesses which I could see some of that. There are others say zero-G gravity airplanes, and I could also see that. But some of those videos are really long, and I just have a hard time seeing that every single video they do could qualify for that or fit within the parameters for that. I just don't see they've got something else as far as low gravity or zero gravity. And one of the reasons why I say that, just because I watched some of their videos and everything, and just things don't always seem so consistent to me. So here's just an old page, this is probably from the 90s, just about their mock-up and training facility. For the ISS. So I'm seeing this right here, a density mock-up. So I didn't notice that one before. I'm going to have to take a look at that one and see what that is. And this is just what it looks like inside of their. So there's a Japanese experiment module. So I will come back to that one. Now, there is more, some other things that they do for their training. They've got virtual reality. And so this individual, um, she's an engineer and lead virtual reality innovator or VR innovator, assuming that's virtual reality, for the laboratories at NASA's Johnson Space Center at the Silicon Valley. So she spoke at Silicon Valley Virtual Reality Expo, which is now, this is really big coming out. And she's saying that virtual reality started as an experimental pursuit in the 90s. Now, I've heard about virtual reality that was out a long time ago, but they're saying that they were using it in the 90s to prepare for training for some of their different experiments and things that they were doing. So let's just show you that they've got virtual reality and they've had it for a really long time. For the public mainstream, it's just now starting to come out here. And I think it's been out probably for the last maybe couple years or whatever. But yeah, it's just really now hit mainstream. And this is an article that I came across that talks about NASA to bring new virtual reality training suit. It'll bring space to Earth. So I guess now we all get to go to space, but we'll still be here on Earth. So now it's going to have the Oculus Rift, which is the newest, some of the newest technology in virtual reality, which is competing with what is a Microsoft HoloLens. So NASA is going to try to put together all the pieces necessary to make a person feel like they're truly on Mars without ever leaving Houston. Well, isn't that fascinating? Going to make people feel like they're on Mars, but they'll never leave Houston. Good job, NASA. So is that what you're going to do next? You're going to use this to try to fake Mars walks? So in this also, we already mentioned virtual reality has been training for a long time for NASA, but they've never been able to fully put together to put them all together, create a true space experience. So instead, astronauts in training wear a spacesuit in a low gravity simulator that looks like it's at the NASA Johnson Space Center. Or they've got their virtual reality, which I'm going to show you some of that, goggles that make them believe that they're walking around. So they're working on spacesuits for Mars. So pretty soon we will see them go to Mars. Let's see what they've got here. Oh, this is... This is kind of a long video. Oh, look at that, Mr. Tiger. Well, isn't that fascinating? They just turned North Dakota into Mars. Well, they've just shown us what they'll be doing in the future. Ridiculous. Oh my gosh. So here's their harness that they use and their spacesuits. Okay, whatever. And here's their old virtual reality that they were using. And here's just some of the virtual reality they're using now to get these people trained. I don't know how old this is, but this is one of the pictures of the virtual reality of what they actually see. Notice the Earth, it kind of looks pretty close to what they show us Earth looking like right now. So this is them playing around with the virtual reality training, getting ready to go to space. And here we see someone in a zero G doing virtual reality in a zero G plane, giving that full experience. Some different types of goggles that they use. We're going to take a look at this as well. So this is what they do for spacewalks. They do their underwater training. And it's about all that I want to show there. I was looking for another one, but I didn't see it. So what is this? Is this someone on the ISS just kind of hanging out there, listening to some music? Or could this be a virtual reality training? But of course, it can't be virtual reality, right? Because he doesn't have goggles on, so that's not even possible. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on a second. Did I just hit the wrong button? Because what is this? So here's at the Johnson Space Center, they have some other types of virtual reality, and they can make the astronauts just make them do exercises in orbiting and working with that robotic arm on the space station, see the Earth. We can see objects coming to the space station. So isn't that fascinating? They actually do have a TV screen, and if you look here, it kind of looks like that one area at the space station where it's their favorite place to go and hang out. And they're looking straight out the Earth, which is very similar to what we've seen. If you ever notice when they've got this canister coming to the space station that they dock with, it'll be far away. Next clip, it'll be closer. Next clip, it'll be closer. Like we don't see it steadily coming in, and it's always just like broken up clips. So could they, if they wanted to, could they fake this? Well, just by seeing this, we see they do have the TV screens. So it's possible that really is what they could be doing. take a look at this video.
Weightless and free from the law of gravity. Walking in space is a dangerous dance. Teetering on the edge of a dark abyss requires every movement to be deliberate, precise, and carefully planned. So every spacewalk starts here at NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory in Houston, Texas.
Later, guys. Going to the space. See you.
The pool is about 61 meters long, 31 meters wide, 12 meters deep.
Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for drawing out the pyramid. Thank you.
It's got more than 22 million liters of water and contains a full-scale mock-up of the International Space Station down to every last bolt.
Sweet. They've got every single bolt, every little minute detail of the ISS underwater. Only for training purposes, though, because you won't want to confuse this right here with being in space, because, well, they won't do that.
Allows each training session to mimic future missions as closely as possible.
We know specific tasks that the spacewalkers will do a couple months down the road, so we can practice those tasks. It makes it very, very comforting, because when you get to space, you realize when you go to open that hatch, it's really, you're not going to encounter anything out there that you haven't probably seen in the pool.
Astronauts Douglas Wheelock and Jeanette Epps are practicing working with a pump module. They have the same tools and the same suits that they'd be using in space, but the biggest difference is that they won't be weightless.
Do you think these guys have been told yet that they're not really going to space? Like, sorry guys, you're really not going. I don't know, they look too excited.
Fortunately, we don't have a room where we can turn off the gravity in here and float around and practice spacewalk. So we do that by getting neutrally buoyant.
Neutral buoyancy makes the astronauts feel like they are hovering. And since they're still feeling the weight of gravity, it's a way to condition their movements for when they get to space.
In here, it feels like for 6 hours you're lifting weights. That's what it feels like. But when you get to space and you do it in vacuum, it's just kind of dancing on your fingertips.
So they've got to spend 6 hours in here moving in the water, which is really good exercise because that's how long the spacewalks are. 6 hours. Which is kind of, I don't know, that's kind of scary. If you ask me, 6 hours out in space, any small thing, you're dead. But they haven't lost one person yet.
It's really pretty amazing.
On average, astronauts have to spend 6 hours in the pool for every hour spent in space.
Well, I think we've gotten more and more comfortable with doing it. It is still a really risky thing, and there's a lot that can go wrong whenever you do a spacewalk. And in the beginning of the era, it was go outside and come back in safely. That was the task. Now we've evolved to basically complex construction and assembly of boxes that were not, in some cases, meant to be manipulated and handled outside in a spacesuit.
With continued practice and technological advancements, they'll move ever closer to perfecting the art.
Oh, look at that. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful?
Of movement in space.
Trivago does the work for you and instantly.
So there we see their training pool, which is kind of, I don't know, fascinates me that, well, their training pool, I mean, they've got blue tarps in there. I wonder why they need blue tarps. Why would that even matter? Oh, wait, because they're video recording and taking pictures. I forgot, sorry. You did make it look beautiful. So we see here. Now, what do you think? Is this outer space or is this a pool? I love how they've got these flashlights taped to their helmets. That's pretty awesome. Get some tape and just tape the flashlights. So if I cut out the background, put the earth down there, put black down there, would that be a swimming pool or space? So if you notice, even though they are underwater, there isn't very much evidence that they are actually underwater besides the blue background and just already knowing that they are in a pool. But if you didn't know they were in a pool, you wouldn't know that they are underwater because this picture is pretty clear. So let's take a look at swimming with spacemen. So here we've got the whole ISS underwater. Of course, here's the area with the blue tarps. How on earth do you simulate microgravity? Build the largest pool in the world and go swimming. Oh, look at that. Refraction plays games with perspective when looking across the pool. So you see this is refraction. See how it's kind of like messing around. It's not like a perfect image. Yeah, that's what refraction does. Creates the illusion. And everything is upside down in the water. Except for if you're on Earth. See, when you're on Earth and you have a river or you have an ocean, then it's perfect. It's perfectly up, straight up. It's not backwards. You see exit, that's actually an upside down T and upside down E, X, and I. But it's all the illusion that water plays on you. And the internet's the space station, it's the size of a football field. Oh, first I thought this was Jean-Luc from Star Trek. Alright, let's go to the next page. Let's just take a look at some of their swimming training. Oh, well, I'm glad they finally got rid of that tape, because I can't believe that's what I was spending my tax money on. I mean, if you're taking all that money, at least get some good clamps for those flashlights. State-of-the-art swimming pool. Your tax dollars paid for it, but you cannot go swimming there. Sure can't. Got all sorts of contraptions. Dude, why is there so many holes in this thing? What the fuck? The hyperbaric tank. So that way if someone gets sick or injured or whatever, they can throw you in there and get you healed up pretty fast. So if there's a pressure-related emergency, this guy here is showing you how to grab a penis and stick it in your mouth. He wanted to make sure that you learned how to do it right. So he's just showing you he likes them really big. So now if you take a look at this picture, if they cut out the background, cut out the bubbles, now besides we've got this guy here or whatever, but would you easily be able to tell that this person was in a swimming pool? How easy would it be to fake that this person was in space? Of course, they have to have all the monitors to keep an eye on people swimming. Here we have a person making a snow angel. Why is this guy watching a child? I'm just curious about that. Interesting. Here we have all the different views of the space station underwater. And back to that image. Later, guys. Later. Going down. And here's the hand signals. You need to go up slow, medium, fast. Or, hey, everything looks okay. Or you can do the communist fist and just like stop. Are you going under? Oh, see you. See you later. See you. Have fun. So let's just take a look at a few pictures. Is this underwater or is this in space? Can you really tell? I mean, obviously they're in space, right? Because there's the Earth. But what if I took out the Earth and put the swimming pool back in there? Which one would they be, Earth or space? So are they in space or are they underwater? I mean, just by looking here, you can't tell that they are underwater. By looking at the background, they are underwater. So is this guy underwater or is he in space? Or possibly is he just hanging from some type of, I don't want to say rope, but some type of harness? What about him? Underwater or is he in space? Which I like the case over the flashlight. That's good. It's good that they did that. Because I'd hate to see them go out in space with tape wrapped around their flashlight, because that would really suck. I wouldn't want to depend on tape on my flashlight. Underwater or in space? Now I also wonder about, there's two lights right here in his face. So I'm just curious, I don't know. Maybe that comes from the space station. They have a light shining on him. But I'm assuming that the sun is somewhere, but you know, we see two lights there. Because you have to use flash when the sun's shining on you. What about this? So if I showed you this picture, would he be in space or would he be underwater? Now, of course, you know, we'll probably just come down like this. Would he be in space or would he be underwater? What about this one? In space or underwater? Now this, we see that arm, which this has the same exact thing that we saw underwater with the little feet clamp things. So they're getting some really good practice underwater. But would this be underwater or in space? Now if you notice that we did look at this picture already, but there's a really big contrast. And remember I said the clamps with the feet right here. Same exact thing as this, clamps with the feet. So you can do green screen and you can also do blue screen. So if you notice the contrast between him, the background, it's all of a bluish color. He's bright. This stuff here is bright. So you could easily cut out the background if you really wanted to. Not that they would use this picture because it wouldn't be the best picture. So are they in space or are they underwater? So how would you be able to tell? How would you be able to tell that most definitely they were in space and not in water? Oh, just because NASA would never fake it, would they? They would never fake it. So that's all I got for you today. Just wanted you to take a look at some of the stuff I was looking at and just keep looking around and seeing what the ISS is doing. And we were talking about how possibly it was the movie screen, and is that even possible? Does NASA have anything like that? We've seen that yes, they do. So just continue to investigate for the truth.